Alright, so we got some Cenpeco here, and this was sent to me by somebody that uses Prolube for testing purposes. This has 10 quarts total. There was 9 quarts of 15W40 Extreme Duty Cenpeco oil, and this was run 5,721 miles. Also, it had 191.6 hours on this oil, and this oil has Prolube in it. They went above what the recommendation was, and they put like a whole quart thing of Prolube in here. And this is new Cenpeco, so we're gonna mix 2 ounces. We'll do 3. We'll mix 3 fluid ounces in this 1 quart of new Cenpeco, and we'll try that, and then we'll try the used, and then we'll try just the oil by itself. And this is all going to include Prolube. Yesterday when we did the Prolube testing, we were able to stack the weights as far as we possibly could on the machine, and the Prolube worked great. The motor coat got to 3 and it locked up. This handled like over 10 of the weights. So this is a fluid ounce measuring cup that I'm using here. And we're going to do 3 fluid ounces to the 1 quart. And we're going to see how it does. There's 3 fluid ounces right there. No, it's not 3. We're going to go 2. And then we'll go to the top of the white, which is 3. Now, that's 3 fluid ounces. I remember measuring that before. Anyhow, that's a lot for 1 quart of oil. That would mean you'd have to use a ton of Prolube. Because a lot of people are like, oh, they changed the formula from like 2 to 3 ounces. From 1 ounce a quart, it went to 2 to 3 a quart. So let's just give them the benefit of the doubt and use 3 ounces. Just so you can see here, we're starting with a real nice polished surface. I'm actually going to spray it with some parts cleaner just so you guys can see it will not be contaminated with anything before I use it. Let's start it, spin it. See my nail? It's not bouncing or anything. It's nice and polished. Wipe this off. And spray that one more time because I touched it with my finger. Somebody will be like, oh, you had it on your finger. That's how. People are like that, you know. They got trust issues. But anyhow, it is what it is. Now, we're going to open up the Cenpeco and dump this Prolube in there. This is the new Cenpeco. You can see it's full to the top. We're going to dump this Prolube in there. Hopefully it fits. I'll come back once it's done draining in here. Been shaking this for like a minute now. This is the new Cenpeco. With the Prolube in it. Okay. Well, what we'll switch over. Let's wipe out our container and wash it out real quick. We got a fresh spot on the Timken bearing. We got a fresh polished wheel. Everything's nice and clean and degreased before even putting anything on. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take the mixed Cenpeco. Oh, spilled out the top. We're going to take the mixed Cenpeco and start with it on the bearing first. Okay, there we go. Now we are ready to begin the test. Start it. And then we'll slowly move our lever up. There we go. Now we can move this off to the side. We start adding our weights. See how well it does. There's one. There's two. There's three. Alright, and made it to 4 and locked up. And that's normally what just straight engine oil does with no additive. It makes it to 4 and then it locks up. So in a situation like this, if we were actually going to look what straight engine oil does versus a quart of Cenpeco 15W40 mixed with Prolube, the machine acts the same and locks up right at 4 weights. And if you wanted to see what the wear scar looks like, it's a pretty substantial wear scar. It's pretty deep. Alright, I've got the bearing nice and polished up now. I'll turn it on so you guys can see it doesn't catch my nail. There's one little spot right there, I feel. Let me redo it again. Now I've got it nice and polished up. So we'll shut this off. We'll do it with a shot of degreaser on it to clean it off. Wipe it down. Now let's get this used Cenpeco where the gentleman had 10 quarts to 1 part. 10 quarts total, 1 quart of Prolube. And just so you guys can see, I've got a new spot on the bearing right here. The other one's off to the side and that one's off to the side. I've got a fresh spot where it's going to make contact. I'll put that on here. We're not going to cut. We're just going to leave it the way it is. That will be there. I'll leave that there. I'll take my cup that's cleaned out, put it up underneath, and we will take our used 15W40. Remind you, this come out of a diesel, so it's going to be a little dirty. It's got a bunch of sulfur and stuff in it from EGR. So there you go. It's full of diesel oil now. So let's start it up and run our test. Yep, there it is. Right before we got to 4, locked up. So, how this gentleman mixed it, it didn't change anything. How I mixed it with 3 ounces per 1 quart, it didn't change anything. And if I come back and let's just do straight engine oil of some type, it's going to end up with 3 or 4 weights anyway. The only time I get the results where Prolube is like this amazing thing that you can see this demonstration on this test is when you use straight Prolube with no engine oil. As soon as you put engine oil in with Prolube, it's done. It fails the same as all the other ones do. Well, there you have it, folks. As Prolube says, the proof is in the pudding. As long as you fill your engine full of Prolube, you're good. As soon as you add the oil to it, it fails the same as regular oil does with no additive. And we all know, especially after the motor oil geek, Lake Speed Jr. did all his additive testing, adding additives to an already well-formulated oil does nothing but lower the spec, drop it below the API rating. It makes it foam more. It really reduces how the oil actually protects and keeps the engine clean just by putting additives in. I am going to test the Cenpeco used and new, the 2 that were sent to me. I've had this oil for a long time. I just haven't made time to test it, and that's what I'm going to do next. Is you will get an analysis of the Cenpeco 15W40 extreme duty oil used with that 5,700 miles on it, and virgin with Prolube, obviously. Anyway.